had to share with my extended family some amazing news. Where do I begin? I'm sure you can tell by the title, but you might be wondering, what does that mean? So I'm here to clarify and announce that you are now looking at the new chief resident for my family medicine residency program. Yes. The announcement has been made. It is completely out. I am the new chief resident for my family medicine program. There's 2 chief residents for my program, and I have been selected to be one of them. So let's begin with, what is a chief resident? So let me give you an actual definition. A chief resident is the head of all resident doctors on staff. Along with their medical resident duties, the chief residents are in charge of training their team of residents and recruiting new doctors to their program. Specifically for my program, duties are extensive, as I'm sure for pretty much most programs. So I will be assisting in the educational aspect of my program and be organizing our weekly didactics. I will also be assisting with scheduling, and I be a liaison between the residents and the attendings and other medical staff and auxiliary staff within our clinic. There's also wellness events. At the end of the year, we usually have a huge wellness event, and we usually do something all together. Hopefully we can have more of those things. I came up with a whole bunch of different ideas, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I'm trying to make this quick but concise, but I'm still trying to give you all the details. So let's start at the beginning of chief resident. Where does this journey begin? Chief resident is something I've been hearing about since the day, if not the day after starting residency. It was always expected that I would be chief resident. I'm not sure why. Even the chief resident, when I started residency in 2021, that the chief residents there were always saying, like, you're gonna be chief resident when it's your time. And I'm like, I'm an intern, I'm a first year. When we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. And the bridge came. The bridge came. So how did I get to this point? Chief resident. The first time I really sat and thought about the possibility of being a chief resident was in November of last year. I kind of explained this in my chief resident speech, which I'll get into, and I'll actually show you a few clips of, but I was able to sit down with one of the current chief residents, and we were both in inpatient block at that time. Inpatient means basically we are the admitting physicians. We usually see patients if they're admitted to the hospital from the ED all the way up until their discharge, managing their care. So during one of our very rare downtimes, we were able to kind of chit chat about a few things and have some honest, genuine conversation on what realistically being a chief resident looks like. After that, I actually sat down and I started drafting notes, and I'll show you exactly what I was drafting, just a whole bunch of different ideas. And I was actually able to explain some of those ideas, actually all of my ideas, during my speech. So this speech was actually given not too long ago during a typical time of our didactics, right before we had a wellness afternoon. I was a little bit nervous, so I'm gonna start off with that. But at least I'll share a few clips of my speech.
And one thing that I feel like I wish I got a lot earlier was help when it comes to, or just better understanding of physical examinations. Neurology examinations and musculoskeletal, I don't know about y'all, but it's a struggle for me. And I would love to be able to have that included in our orientation process. In addition to discussing and helping with the process of choosing electives, because choosing electives is a very big and integral part that we don't really discuss until the time comes about and you're kind of like, I don't know which one to take, which is the best option, et cetera, et cetera. And then also trying to avoid lovely imposter syndrome. So if you're looking for someone who has leadership, organization, listening, communication, someone who's approachable, dependable, trustworthy, someone who will advocate for you and your needs with integrity, you should probably look somewhere else. No, I'm joking. You could definitely, that's something I believe I do encompass, and I would love the opportunity to be able to see at least some of these ideas, if not all, done, whether I'm chief or not. Thank you so much.
Okay, so that was my speech. I was a little nervous. When I get a little nervous, I talk a little fast. So that might be why I'm just like, but that's not typically, no, that is typically how I talk. Also, if I talk with somebody that I'm comfortable with, I talk very fast. So that is something I definitely will have to learn to own in on, is talk slower, utilize diction, and be confident in whatever I'm saying. So, other than the fact that I'm beyond excited, it is honestly such an honor because to be a chief resident doesn't just mean that you do a speech and that's it, and you just are appointed to this position. It is actually a voting process. The voting is with my co-residents. There is 16 of us. In addition to our faculty attendings, there's 4 of them, in addition to our program coordinator and our office manager. So in total, we have 16 plus 4, which is 20, plus 2 is 22. So 22 votes in total, including mine. I actually did not vote for a variety of reasons. One, I just didn't really feel like doing it. I'm not gonna lie. I just really wasn't really up for voting. I'm not really a good voter. Because I felt like it would be edging my bets. I do believe that any of my co-residents would be great to work alongside. I just didn't feel like voting. I don't know. I just had no energy to vote. I literally would open up the screen to put in my vote. I would, of course, put in a vote for myself, but then I was like, that seems even kind of sketchy to be like, you're voting for yourself. I'm like, maybe I should vote for 2 other people. I don't know. Then I was just like, it's not that serious. I'm okay with whomever, if I was chosen, that I would work with. It really honestly wasn't that big of a deal in terms of like whoever I'd be working with. I was just happy to be a part. And now to be officially a chief resident is such a blessing. I'm so excited. I typically don't wear my white coat. That's just not, it's so crazy. You worked undergraduate. You went through medical school. Now you got into residency and you're thinking like, I'm gonna finally wear this coat. I don't wear my coat. We usually get 2 new coats every single year, and the 2 new coats that I got starting from July of last year are still in the bag. So we have like other jackets that I wear, so I pretty much wear that, but that's a completely different story. I am so excited to be the chief resident. I'm so excited. I will definitely probably dive in more on the journey as the time goes along. So I'll definitely dive in more as the journey goes along. I'm literally just in the beginning stages. I officially don't take over until 3rd year, which for me starts in July. But between now and then, I am privileged to be able to learn from the current chief residents all the ins and outs of being a successful chief resident. And I hope within this time that I'm able to also work on things that I plan to implement, because there's a lot of new things coming to my program, which I'm so excited for. It's always good to try to freshen up things, just reignite things, and just to try something different. So I'm really excited to be able to have the opportunity, to have the ability, and to have the privilege and honor of being able to serve my program in this capacity. You're now looking at the chief resident. The price is going up. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. The price is increasing as we speak. The CV is getting longer. It's getting longer. I digress. Just wanted to be able to quickly share that with you because I can't let my family here not know about all the amazing thing that's going on in my life. I'm so grateful to God. Like, it is a whirlwind of a week to find this out. I am so happy. So happy. So privileged and honestly so blessed. So the love I have for you all is real because I never wear my white coat, but I could not leave this video without at least showing you what I kind of look like if I were to wear a white coat, because to be honest, I never wear a white coat at work. But I also wanted to share a scripture that is kind of encapsulates exactly how I'm feeling and how I felt prior to all of this. And it's taken from Jeremiah chapter 1. The word of the Lord came to me saying, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Alas, sovereign Lord," I said, "I do not know how to speak. I am too young." But the Lord said to me, "Do not say I am too young. You must go to everyone I send you to and say whatever I command you. Do not be afraid of them, for I am with you and I will rescue you, declares the Lord." Then the Lord reached out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, "I have put my words in your mouth. See, today I appoint you over nations and kingdoms to uproot and tear down, to destroy and overthrow, to build and to plant." So I share this scripture because I just strongly believe that every person, every individual, everybody has a purpose. God has a plan for each and every person. And it may not be that you're going to be a prophet. It may not be that you'll be speaking necessarily to the nations in terms of going to the nations. Your nation or your community may be what God is calling you to speak to. Where you are at work may be where you're supposed to be planting seeds. Your family, your friends. Make sure that in every situation you find yourself into, to make sure that God gets the glory in every single story. And that is something I definitely want to make sure I share with you all, because don't get me wrong, I'm very excited. It is a blessing. It is a privilege. I am beyond so excited to be given this privilege to be even in this position. However, I do not take it lightly. And this is for me, a mandate from God. I take everything that I do as if I was doing unto God, even if it's not the typical. I'm not in the church necessarily. I'm not in the four walls of the church, but my ministry is anytime I leave my house, anytime I open up my mouth, that is a part of my ministry, and that is a part of my witness. So if there's anything you're believing God for, do not stop. You better push, you better pray until something happens, and you better not cease when it comes to your prayer, because God is a God that still answers prayers. He still works miracles. He still intercedes on his children's behalf. He still makes a way when there may not seem like there will be no way. He's still a provider. He's still your God. He's still there for you. He's still your friend. He's still the peace that surpasses all understanding. He's still the Prince of Peace. He still gives joy. He still gives hope, and he will still make a way for you no matter what the situation is. So just wanted to make sure I left that with you. Thank you so much. I am just beyond excited. Definitely want to make sure I share this with you. See you all soon. Bye.